The Rams' 27-20 win over the Indianapolis Colts has me really excited about what is to come, and I'm going to explain why. Before I get into it, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Also, be sure to follow me on all social media at JKBogan, including Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Kick, and Twitch. In addition to that, just want to let you guys know that today's sponsor is, of course, Sleeper. The NFL season is here, which means you have a chance to 100x your cash on daily fantasy football. You can pick on stats like touchdowns, passing yards, receiving yards, fantasy points, and more for up to a 100x payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right and you could win big. You want to use my promo code JKB and get a $100 bonus match on your first deposit up to $100. So be sure to use the code JKB to get that and get in on the action over with Sleeper. The link is in the description below. All right, guys, without further ado, we got my notes from the game. Fully all 22, regular broadcast. We've watched it twice. Here are my notes. Matthew Stafford looked awesome. Okay, going back and watching the tape, Stafford looked even better than I initially thought. He is tied with Dak Prescott, in case you didn't know this, in big-time throws this year per PFF, and he's got 12 of them. He's a dark horse MVP candidate right now. I think having Puka Nacua is going to be used against him in that argument, but he looked sensational. Back shoulder throws, obviously the deep ball, not just the 2-2 Atwell one, but the one over to Puka Nacua, draped all over in coverage by Xavier Howard, and he hangs on and makes just a beautiful throw, and obviously Puka made a beautiful catch. Kyren Williams looks like a much improved running back. You're looking at runs that he simply wasn't making before, and he was already one of the better backs in the league. And now he's hitting those runs. And that fumble, I'm going to say this right now, should not be on him. As great as Stafford was, I believe that on the exchange, that should go to Stafford because Kyren never had possession of the football in that exchange, and I would not call it a fumble on him. Speaking on running backs, Blake Corum had some misses in this one. He was way too quick and missed some holes in the run game, didn't really show patience there, dropped 2 passes, both of which flew up in the air and really scared the hell out of me. They could have been picked. It's a reminder that while he's made strides, he's still nowhere near where Kyren Williams is in terms of level of reliability. Nacua is absolutely dominant, by the way. He has a 90% catch rate. He's ahead of where Cooper Kupp was the year he had the Triple Crown season and pretty much everything except for touchdowns. He's beating man coverage, he's beating zone coverage, and he could be used as a gadget option. In addition to that, he's a great blocker. There are already some saying he might be the best tight end in the league. Now, that's hilarious because he doesn't play tight end, but really, he kind of does. This is truly the best wide receiver in the NFL right now, and I don't believe it right now. It's even close. You got Jamar Chase, doesn't have Joe Burrow, so he's not able to produce. You just had Malik Neighbors go down with an injury. Justin Jefferson's been good, but there's no one on the level of Puka Nacua right now. He's over 100 yards more than the next guy, which is Jackson Smith and Jigba in terms of receiving yards. And really what it is when you have 50 targets and you catch 42 of them, that is, to me, what is the most impressive. Devontae Adams fits so well within the structure of this offense, by the way. They don't have to force it to him. So when they don't force it to him, he fits perfectly. He does exactly what's required. You have a guy in Nacua that's racking up yardage easily and moving the chains. Devontae Adams, he's fine being held quietly in place by Charvarius Ward. He takes on the number 1 receiver. It opens up opportunities for Puka Nacua, right? It's all natural. And he can come through anytime you get him the ball naturally, including that last second touchdown before the half. Sensational touchdown drive to end the half by Matthew Stafford and company. Speaking of the wide receivers, though, Jordan Whittington is clearly well-liked by the coaching staff. His snaps continue to move up, right? He had more snaps this week than Tutu Atwell by a wide margin. I would still like to see the usage of him in the passing game. He only caught 1 catch for 7 yards. He's a great blocker. We see that. But I'd like to see him used in a gadget role if he's not going to be used via the air. This guy is going to be a key factor no matter what moving forward, though. Keep in mind, Devontae Adams, we only know is guaranteed this year. We don't know how it's going to be. Will the Rams bring him back after the season? Will he want to stay? Will he want to retire? The point being is he's getting older, and it's only a 2-year deal. And Jordan Whittington has a future on this team. They're telling you that because actions do speak louder than words. And speaking of actions speaking louder than words, the Rams finally used Tutu Atwell in the most important and pressing moment of the entire football game. Atwell at $10 million a year for 1 year only had 1 catch on 3 targets coming into this game. I believe if this is his only role, just stretching the field, catching touchdowns, I disagree. But at the same time, if you maximize it at the very least, he can be like Gabe Davis was for the Buffalo Bills the first time he was there. He can be one of those take the top off the defense guys. And if you use them at least a few times a game, it's going to open up the entire offense, because it's not just about the lack of utilization. If you're constantly just having him run streaks down the field, defenses aren't going to bite, as I've explained a million times on this channel. I think he showed you how crafty he is, though. He broke Mekhi Blackman's ankles off the line of scrimmage. It's time, just like I said, to finally start letting this guy cook. That route was special, and that speed looked effortless. It looked like he was jogging, and he was still moving so far away from the path. So he's a special dude. They got to use him more. Was really surprised to see them use Konate Mumfield early on and Xavier Smith. I sense the Rams are trying to get cute there. If you're not going to throw to any of those guys, defenses aren't going to think twice. So I like the usage, but I would rather Tutu Atwell play over those guys as much as I like them. Again, tight end room, I still have an issue, right? Tyler Higbee was supposed to be a key part of this offense, and right now he's just not. It's hard to know what to expect with this tight end room. Davis Allen barely got involved, although he had a really key and critical catch that saved an interception. I don't think it should have been an interception, but a really good play on the defensive back, and he was able to rip the ball out. Of course, the penalty picked it up. And then Colby Parkinson had 2 really important catches on that last drive, but they're barely getting involved, not until the end of the game. And I just wonder why Terrence Ferguson, their second-round pick, again, as I've said a million times, that they reportedly would have taken at 26, he's inactive, and it's just really frustrating. So I do believe the lack of tight end usage is making it much tougher on Stafford, is making it a lot tougher on the receivers to find open space. And until that changes, I do expect the assignments to be a little tougher on the receivers. As far as the offensive line goes, I thought Alec Jackson did a nice job at left tackle. He continues to look that way, and he's the best on the offensive line. Justin Diedish, I think, has a lot to be desired there. Leaves a lot to be desired in pass pro. Was better than last week, but that's not really saying much. However, he's really helpful in the run game. I think Coleman Shelton's underrated. Didn't have a bad game, or nearly as bad of a game as I thought he would, expecting him to go up against that front. I think Dotson is still banged up to a degree, and Rob Havenstein got absolutely nuked by Alayatu Latu. 9 pressures given up, so I'm hoping Havenstein bounces back. Again, 9 pressures is concerning, to say the least. But he always has struggled against those type of uber athletic edge defenders. So are we finally seeing some decline, or is it due to the ankle soreness and he's been dealing with? For me, I'm going to go with the latter there. So we'll wait and see on Rob Havenstein. But yes, they could very well use Steve Avila ASAP, who was active, but he did not play. The Rams defensive line, by the way, looks really good. Okay. This is a very good Colts offensive line. I was really impressed. I know that they were without Goncaves at right guard, but still, really liked what I saw there. Braden Fisk looks like he is pretty much back to where he was. Keep in mind, it wasn't reported as crazy, because you think about it, right? Braden Fisk is somebody that came back without missing any time, but he suffered a very serious injury in that Eagles game, in the playoff game, and came back and was able to be ready for the season. So I don't think people realize how important that is. He's getting back to himself, and I think we saw that. I loved what I saw at Poona Ford, adding 3 pressures in the interior there. Kobe Turner looked great. He had some huge reps, and then Ty Davis had 2 defensive stops. But as far as the edge, I thought you saw the best game of the year for Jared Verse. Really just looked like Jared Verse, and the strip sack was huge, and I thought Byron Young's chase down sack on Daniel Jones was impressive, and he leads the league in sacks at the time of recording this, so pretty crazy, in that sense. But I'm loving every rep that I see from number 10, Josiah Stewart. I want to make that very clear. Really impressed with him, and I like number 6, Nick Hampton, in his minor role. He's not asked to do a ton, but he's a solid player nonetheless. As far as the linebackers go, I thought Omar Speights had an underrated game, pretty under the radar, just solid overall. isn't really being talked about in this defense, but I figured I'd want to, name drop him. Landman had some key moments as well. He's not the best in coverage, but we already knew that. Anything you can get out of Landman is going to be improvement over the course of his career, which he's gotten better at every single time. They did a really nice job holding Jonathan Taylor in check for the most part. So I think that's really the big thing, the big flag in their cap. As far as the cornerbacks, and I'm still very concerned about them, in my opinion, Kobe Durant is going to carry one side of the field. He's just going to have to. He's clearly the best cornerback right now with Akello out. Emmanuel Forbes, I'm not giving up on, but he is getting abused on the outside, folks. It's not great. I'm a little concerned about Darius Williams. They just don't have a lot of size on the outside either. But he did have a nice play and run support that stopped a huge gain for Jonathan Taylor. And then he did force the holding call on, Adonai Mitchell that got called back, the Jonathan Taylor touchdown that would have maybe sealed the deal. So, he does things like that, but then he also does things where he plays 10 yards off of Ashton Doolin. That drives me nuts. So I don't think he was terrible, but I'm not overly confident right now in the Rams corners. I'm just not. They need Witherspoon back ASAP, and they need Kobe to do his job. And, what does that look like at the deadline? I think if any position the Rams go after, they're going to look on the offensive line and they're going to look at cornerback, in my opinion. As far as the safeties go, that was the best Cam Curl performance I could say for sure, because I've seen every single game he's had as a Ram, but I haven't seen every single one as a Commander. I saw a lot of them, but I didn't see every single one. Every single game that I've seen, I would say this is the best game of Cam Curl's career. And I was really impressed with what I saw. I mean, the 2 interceptions were great plays. They weren't just thrown right at him. I thought he was great in coverage. I thought he was great in run support. He played like a $16 million a year safety. And then you had Cam Kinchins drop in interception. He'll definitely want that back, but he looked good. I thought Quentin Lake just continues to show you what he's becoming. And then Tank McCullough had some huge plays in this one. I will go on record as saying if this isn't the best safety room in the NFL, it's one of them. It is crazy how deep they are. The kicking operation went without a hitch. No blocks. This is also a kick blocking unit that blocked Joey Sly's field goal, as I mentioned during the week against the Titans. So they've had experience. Grover Stewart did that last week, and they weren't able to come through this week. So shout out to the Rams for making adjustments that were clear and evident on film. I don't think I've ever watched the kicking operation as much as I have over the last week, but it was definitely improved this week for sure. So let's wrap it up with some quick stuff. The Rams defense, much more of a challenge to Daniel Jones than the Broncos defense was. Gotta love that. The Rams run defense has been very good. They cooled off a very hot Jonathan Taylor. They held Saquon Barkley in check. They've been very good. The Rams could use a cornerback at the deadline, in my opinion. I already mentioned that. I think Cam Taylor-Britt is a really good fit. Alante Taylor and also Cordell Flott from the New York Giants. The touchdown drive to end the half was special, as I mentioned. The Rams are an elite team that has correctable flaws and injuries that are going to help when those guys come back and improve those flaws. And the last thing I'll say is anyone should feel high on them going forward. They got the San Francisco 49ers, I believe, they'll win this Thursday. They might even roll this Thursday. We'll see what ends up happening. Then they got some extra rest going up against a Ravens team that just feels right now decrepit and just broken down. And I think they'll win that game. And then they got London against a good Jaguars team, a lot better than I expected them to be at this point in the season. We'll see, but I think they will be able to, turn the ball over, make some plays on Trevor Lawrence. And at the very least, that defense is really going to help them lead them to a win in London. They go in the bye at 6-1. I have a very, very good feeling the Rams are going to be in contention for either the 1 or the 2 seed. And as you guys know, I think they're winning the Super Bowl regardless. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Check out today's sponsor, Sleeper. Code JKB, $100 deposit match up to $100. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, folks. Later.